Yeah, g'day guys. My name's Andy, and this is my brand new MY2023 BRZ, or BRZ, depending on where you're from in the world. So the options that I got, these are factory options except for the exhaust, and I'll cover off on that a little bit later, but the factory options that I got that are available in Australia, the STI style pack, and you can see the front lip here. A little bit more of a view. And includes a little side garnish. Try and get a better view there. And then you got your rear wheel arch pieces. And along with the diffuser at the bottom. In this case, it's funny, the diffuser part in Australia, apparently they're all silver, no matter what, you can only get it in silver. So in my case, that happened to work out all right because of my silver car, but I'm not sure how others are going to get on with that. Some people say they prefer it in the black. I'm not too fussed. The black is available domestically in Japan, but not in Australia, apparently. And then finally we got the boot lip. Again, looks is subjective. Some people like this sort of stuff and some don't, but for me, I think it just, I think it completes the car, and I'm biased, but I reckon it looks great. So then moving on to the rear, I've had a Corsa exhaust fitted, and in my opinion, I think it actually makes the car. It's made such a difference getting this fitted over the OEM. The OEM, it really doesn't allow you to hear what the car's doing, whereas the moment you put in some sort of aftermarket exhaust, and in this case it's the Corsa exhaust, it really transforms the car. By the way, sorry about the birds in the background there. I'm at a family holiday house and they're everywhere. So as I was saying, it really transforms the car, no matter which sort of exhaust you put on it. Anything over and above the OEM is going to make a huge difference. So then we've got the interior. This is the, in Australia, the BRZ or BRZ comes in two specs. They're almost identical, the two specs, except that the higher spec has the seats, the Alcantara and heated seats. That's the only difference between the two models that you get in Australia. The lower spec BRZ still gets the 18-inch wheels with the Pilot Sport tyres. So really it's a very small difference between the bottom spec and the top spec, and it's simply just the seats. So whilst we're in the cabin here, I've also got factory install or dealer install the quick shifter or short shifter and the STI gear knob. I can't say what the gear shift was like as standard because I got the short shifter fitted from straight away from the dealer, as was the case with the STI pack style pack as well, and that's one of the great, or a couple of the great options you've got here in Australia, that you can get those fitted by the dealer, which gives you some peace of mind in terms of factory warranty and all that sort of stuff as well. So in the boot or the trunk, again in Australia, we get a full-size alloy spare, which is always welcome. The only problem is, of course, it protrudes into your boot space a bit, or trunk space a bit, and it does, if you want to carry a bit of a load, there's not much room in there, and then adding that on top, with the rubbery texture, it can make getting things in and out a little bit tricky. Of course, with the rear seat down, there's actually plenty of room there, and they advertise that you can fit four full-size tyres. But you know, there is a cover to go over that, a cloth cover you can buy, which would make life a little bit easier in terms of sliding things in and out. You can also obviously replace that with a space saver spare, and I may end up doing that. There's already been a couple of times where I've gone away for the weekend, for example, and I've had to take that spare out just to accommodate, you know, some of the camping stuff I've got or whatever. So yeah, I may well think about replacing, excuse me, replacing that with a space saver spare. But yeah, it's great to have the full size alloy, regardless. So around to the passenger side, I've got one not so optional extra there, in the form of a interlock device. That's a Draeger interlock device. I'm not proud of that, but you know, you do the crime, you do the time. So I've got that interlock device. It'll be with me until January sometime. But yeah, looking forward to losing that and being a good boy going forward. So this is my second car. The other car I've got is a 2020 Fiesta ST. So they're both. I'm really interested in bang for buck drivers' cars. And both of these cars are definitely bang for buck drivers' cars. My 2020 Fiesta ST is just such a fun little package, and the BRZ is much the same. The BRZ is much the same. For anyone interested, I am going to do a comparison, just a layman's comparison video between those two vehicles, the 2020 Fiesta ST and the BRZ. It doesn't, probably at first glance, that doesn't sound like a reasonable comparison, you know, given the major differences between the two. But you know, front-wheel drive versus rear, and you know, naturally aspirated versus turbo. But nonetheless, they've both got a bunch of similarities as well. You know, weight, power, to an extent, pricing, and just the pure fun factor that they're both manuals. They both ride on Pilot Sport. So for those interested, in the next few months I'll be putting out a comparison video between the BRZ and the Fiesta ST, just simply because I happen to own both of those cars. So if you're interested in that at all, come back and see me in a couple of months. All right, now we'll get on to a little bit of driving, and we'll see how that Corsa exhaust sounds.